man, we build it. We build it as we fly, bro. That's all. I'm, bro. We learning, bro. I'm learning too, bro. I mean, I'm looking at it like, if everybody else is monetizing off everything and all the other platforms and such. I mean, I'm still finding out stuff myself, bro. Seriously. So, I mean, yeah, bro. I ain't trying to leave no money on the table, bro. There you go. There you go. It's coming. It's coming. Coming for both of us, bro. Yes, sir. Man, I'm tripping, man. I'm like, cause after Browns paid that not that Deshaun all that money guaranteed, I think like 206, almost 300 mil guaranteed. Man, bro, you paid them all that guaranteed money, but I'm sure they had a stipulation of where they're gonna try to offload him for a discount. Kind of like, right. Mm. For sure, man. I, you know what, bro? God, I'm a bit torn, man. I'm kind of scared for Shador, bro. To be real, cause I think this is the only division he shouldn't have went to, bro. Like you heard me call it when we was on the line, bro. I was like, bro, please don't let him come to the AFC North, bro, because, dude, I see what they trying to do. They trying to RG3 that boy, bro.
Welcome in, everybody. This is Mailbox Sports. As we see, we got some AFC, NFC draft recap going on. Me and your boy G Honda over there. How you feeling today, G?
All good, all good. What's good, my brother?
Besides being a pseudo Louis Riddick over here and being my best armchair GM, obviously I'm a Bears fan. Y'all know. G Honda is an avid Steelers fan. You see the towel, you see the logo. I won't hate on it. We're going to let them go ahead and represent for the AFC North. We always have this particular debate at work. Who's better or who has the stronger / tougher division? The AFC North or what they call the black and blue division of the NFC North? It's always going to be a particular conversation to be had, especially amongst AFC North brethren that I work with, people that are frequent, such as G, and even in our own division, we talk about the same things that you guys talk about in terms of the physicalities. Every time you go into one of those stadiums, you leaving out not with a win only or a loss, but a beating. And personally, to be able to inflict that type of pain on your opponent and wear them down at the end of the year, especially for me when I see all the teams in my division go out so cowardly into the night and they don't win anything. I don't root for my division in the playoffs. I root against all of them. And so to see everybody lose in the first round was beautiful for me. With that being said, we come around to what we call the retooling for everybody. Lions lost staff members. Everybody loses players to free agency. Once we get that out of the way, we move into draft grades that were given by each individual team. So we're going to go team grades, note some players of those teams, draft picks, talk about a few if you will, and we're going to do that in order of, I like a little bit of a neatness going on, so we're going to do some alphabetical order. Obviously, I don't like that because it doesn't allow me to start first, but the Baltimore Ravens, by law over here, start with that good B. AFC North, they have a letter grade of an A. G Honda. So first off, the letter grades that I give out are all things that have been researched via ESPN. So NFL Network and ESPN collaborative gradings. If I saw any discrepancies, I took the higher of the two. If they were the same, obviously I kept them going. With that being said, the Ravens had an A grade. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree completely. Being that they fortified their line to administer to Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, he's been a problem in the league for years, and of course, with the acquisitions of their offensive tackles
Emory.
that they got. I'm sorry.
Emory Jones.
Emory Jones, yes, sir. Emory Jones out of LSU, and which they're going to be a problem, as well as Garrett Dillinger, the offensive guard.
Okay.
Two SEC guys, and also on the defensive side to assist Kyle Hamilton with their defensive play for the AFC North, which is very rugged, of course. That's going to be a problem, of course, with the first round pick of Malachi Starks out of Georgia, as well as Mike Green coming off the edge, assisting Roquan Smith. And that's going to be nothing short of a problem for the whole division. I mean, if you ask me, it looks like they're putting the division on notice. Looks like they're trying to take the bull by the horns and make a statement early.
And we just touched base on even to fortify more on the defense. Teddy Buchanan, they got a linebacker from California to kind of go along, like you said, when we talk about assistant Roquan. And they did some what I like to think of as a deep find. They got a defensive tackle from Virginia Tech, I believe, Aeneas Peebles.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Aeneas got a bit of a nasty side to him that I think fits in, one, with the division, but more so with the team that he was drafted to. 6th round pick. I don't think he'll be more than a rotational player to start, but I do think that a person like him, and since I am a proud graduate of a HBCU, shout out to Alabama State University, I'm a Marching Hornet, I will not throw out my hate right here and hate on the person from Alabama A&M University. All HBCUs matter when you get drafted into the NFL for me, baby. And Carson Vincent is an offensive tackle that was drafted in the 5th round. Titus Howard went to Alabama State. Sorry, got to say it anyway. Titus was a 1st round pick by the Houston Texans about 4 years ago. This is the highest graded or rated lineman from HBCU since Titus Howard. To see him going to mid rounds, I don't care if he, and I hope he plays a long, successful career. To have somebody from 45 miles up the way from Birmingham, right in the hill over there for Huntsville, I'm blessed to be able to let that young man achieve his dream. Because typically, when we talk about people who went to HBCUs like Jackson State and things like that, they don't get drafted. So to see him in not an undrafted free agent or something like that, kudos to him, and he get a big salute for me right there, bro.
Absolutely, myself as well.
Now,
I agree.
Just to highlight overall, day 1 they gave him an A. Day 2, gave him an A again. Day 3, disappointing people, they gave him an A minus. I think this probably, even in my opinion, one of the more solid drafts on the surface of all teams in the NFL. Houston and a couple other teams kind of mind when you think of it, but AFC North, as much as I hate to say it, I will say that this might be the best draft of any of the teams that we're about to talk about. Just my humble opinion. I don't know if the grades reflect that, but I do like that team overall. So that A right there. And just to recap all draft picks. Malachi Starks from Georgia. Mike Green from Marshall. Emory Jones, tackle from LSU. Teddy Buchanan, California. Carson Vincent, once again, from Alabama A&M. Bilal Kone from Western Michigan, the big defensive back. They got a kicker. They got some controversy going on with somebody over there. So Tyler, excuse me, ladies. Tyler Loop is they kicker. My wife and kids is having girl talk. LaJohntay Webster is the wide receiver out of Colorado. Aeneas Peebles that I spoke of earlier. Robert Longerbeam and Garrett Dellinger. They had a lot of picks in the 6th round in terms of compensatory picks. So that's why it went so long. Take a deep breath. Like, share, and subscribe if anybody would be coming into the page. And we will get to what I think is the best, absolute sensational, most beloved team of all of these, my beloved NFC North. One day we're going to get back to the top and never give it back. Chicago Bears. Now, I don't agree. And I don't agree in the sense that I don't believe we got an A. I'm a bit conflicted or confused about how we went about drafting. I understand it's more so a best player available, but the rhyme and reason didn't come together for me. But in being we trust. With that being said, we got a B plus. B plus is the grade they gave us. If anybody wants to, and if anybody may check the replay, I did a draft or pre-draft episode in which we gave out scenarios. And in one of those scenarios, I had my beloved Bears trade into a position to acquire 3 second-round picks. It's titled as such. But lo and behold, my Bears made a trades, and we got 3 second-round picks. So, tap myself on the back right there because I got no picks right that my team selected. I didn't pick any of them in none of my mocks. Well, in my mock drafts, but they don't really count for me. I'm talking about people that I actually had in my last standings. And so we'll get right into it. My first pick was a shocker and a head scratcher to me, but I understand it. Just wasn't expecting it. Colston Loveland out of Michigan. Now, for my beloved team, I gave you the actual grades that my players got. Colston got an A. Now, while I think Colston is the greatest tight end in the draft this year, gives me more of a Travis Kelce as opposed to a Rob Gronkowski, i.e. a Sam Laporta-esque for Ben Johnson. I think that it gives Cole Kmet the opportunity to turn into a Gronk-esque tight end, so it assists him in a way in which people don't expect it to. I think it takes away from Cole, but I think it was a solid pick in terms of what my new coach wants and how he wants to expand the offense. To keep that ball rolling, and what I think might be one of the absolute steals of the draft in itself, we got number 39, the wide receiver out of Missouri, and he has an A-plus grade, Mr. Luther Burden. I got an absolute burner to put into that slot and to replace the old slow-legged Keenan Allen. We got a young boy out there in Rome Odunze. We got the vet of the crew with DJ. And we got a burner that's going to work for you. They got a little age on them, to be honest. And Luther Burden. What I like about Luther is he's been consistent throughout his college career. So he wasn't a flash in the pan like Kevin White or somebody like that. Give me one good year and kind of pull the wool over your eyes. He was the heart and soul of the offense, per se, and was a consistent part of it. And consistent parts of offensive line and defensive line were the places that they thought my team would go and seek out the best opportunities. Ozzie Trapillo is the lineman from Boston College. A- is what they gave us for Ozzie, another second-round pick. I won't be mad at them giving us an A- grade, only because they say he stands a bit upright. I believe in coaches being able to work with technique. He's a 6'8" guy, so 6'8". He's standing upright, I think, in his position regardless. And I don't think he's standing upright. It just appears that way because of the size. Not to mention that they say he block out the sun. So, I mean, they can kind of haggle about that right there. I'd be interested to see if that plays a part. Or I'd be most interested to see if he replaces Braxton Jones. But we will see moving forward. The person that I like most in my draft, and he only has a B-plus grade, but Shamar Turner, the defensive tackle from Texas A&M, is what I like most about my team because he is a younger version of Grady Jarrett, whom we just signed in the offseason. Gritty, nasty, borderline dirty. I think we need a little bit of that on my team. We don't have enough attitude or enough monster of the midway to go along with what I think is going to be a high-flying offense, and I think they needed to get that done. Okay, now the reason why we got a B plus, and I know it wholeheartedly because he has the lowest grade on the board, somewhat of a head scratcher for most because of where they picked him to be picked, but we know that they can project you to go somewhere and you don't have to. Ruben Hippolyte was my linebacker from Maryland. He got a C plus. C plus mainly because he was projected to be a 6th round to even in some people's estimation an undrafted free agent. The fact that they drafted him in the 5th round or the 4th round, my apologies. They see something in him they like, so I won't criticize the pick. but it was a head scratcher for most. One, it was a linebacker. Two, a guy who doesn't pop in terms of actual stats, but they like a lot of things about him. He got a C plus, and that would tank my average. Round 5, we got a big 6'3" cornerback from a smaller school. I support small schools. Za Frazier. We got a pack of that Za, and he finna unload on everybody out there. I can't wait for him specifically because I think that Al Harris got a plan for him. What I noticed in my draft is that the coaches, the new coaching staff, a few people had what we call choice picks, or they guys, and they guys were the people they picked, and I'll get right into that moving forward. Round 6, we picked another offensive guard, Luke Newman from Michigan State. That guy received an A grade. Nice depth. Going to be a rotational piece. Maybe even has the potential starter skills to be the replacement in the future for a one Joe Tooney. Last pick we picked up, and we talked about, or at least I did, the theme of my coaching staff having a hand specifically on certain players. We have a 6'3" running back that is an absolute battering ram. 7th round, Kyle Monangai from Rutgers. The connection there, Eric Bieniemy picked him out solely, and as we know, before Washington and UCLA, Bieniemy was a staunch OC out there in Kansas City, and so he has direct hands-on work with Isaiah Pacheco, a former 7th round pick from Rutgers. Way smaller than Kyle, but if you look at the tape on Kyle, I do believe that he gives us that thunder and lightning, or that Sonic and Knuckles that being had in Detroit. I don't know what that spells for Roshan Johnson or what have you, but I do think that 7th round pick, unlike many, I think he has a chance to stick, and not only stick, but at some point, maybe week 3 or 4, totally be a player for the team. So, lastly, A- grade on day 1, a B+ on day 2, and they gave us that round OC on day 3. No doubt, like I said, it does affect us with Ruben Hippolyte. Nonetheless, the B+ is what they give us. We move into your next team over here who got a B- or NFC North team, AFC North, I should say, the Cincinnati Bengals. 6 picks, real crisp. They got a B-. What you think about it?
I'm a bit torn, and I'm gonna explain why. Well, torn, but a bit excited for the competition, being that they drafted an edge rusher in Shamar Stewart. Shamar Stewart, first rounder, athletic Tuesday, and which is going to play very complimentary to Trey Hendrickson, and which is going to be a duel to be reckoned with on that defensive side. Now, how that's going to be very effective on the run, and also they can also shut down some third down, a lot of those mixed packages where they can tie them into, like, slot coverage and such. So
Exactly.
they'll definitely stifle up a lot, and they'll definitely jam up the pipe when it comes to that. Um, but the Bengals, man, I'm because it always seems like as if that group, and with Joe Burrow and such, would be able to turn the curve. And of course, we saw a couple of years back when they made that Super Bowl run, and they end up losing to crap. The Fort, what was that? The not the Niners, but
The, man, you know what? I'm so
the
disappointed in
Rams.
myself,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. The Rams.
LA.
The Rams.
Because
The
they hit the
Rams.
white
I'm
jersey.
sorry.
It's throwing me off.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The Rams, and Joe Burrow ain't been back. Joe Burrow at LSU, man. Shout out to Joe Burrow. You know, uh, bitter rival, but being that he went to the boot and brought us a natty title in 2020. Salute to him. Uh, but I think this duo right here is definitely going to make a lot of noise with Trey Hendrickson and Shamar Stewart, and I think they're going to play very well off each other. I mean, I think the grade itself is a bit underwhelming, but I think they're going to turn heads come seasonal play.
And I would probably think they look at the grade itself like that. Like, for example, they got B's on the first 2 days, and they get a C minus on day 3. I don't know if Taj Brooks or Jalen Rivers would be the one to do that for him, but they attempted to, address the offensive line again with Dylan Fairchild in the 3rd round, and Jalen Rivers is another body that could be a rotational or could develop to a starter. So, like you said, somewhat unfair, but if no one knows my stance on draft grades, they are totally over the top and overrated. They serve absolutely no purpose until 3 years down the line at least. However, to be able to analyze and see how the outside world sees what's going on, give your own input, and see how those things turns out always gives forecasting a nice opportunity for an I told you so moment, and I seek those out. So what we will do is keep right on with the AFC North. Probably one of your favorite teams over here, and I'm disappointed in the grade that this team got. I'm just going to say this out loud. This team got the grade that they got because a few people feel as though Shedeur Sanders was so undervalued in his draft position that he gets the automatic A+ and shoots them up a board that they shouldn't be. For me, be that as it may, I'm a Cleveland resident and resident hater. They got a B+. G Honda, what do you think about the Browns?
B+.
B+.
I don't agree. I don't.
You think it should be higher?
Say again?
You think it should be higher or lower?
I think it would be lower because of the fact that, one, you draft 2 QBs, Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders.
Right.
Why? And I thought that with the current QB situation that they already have with Deshaun Watson being out and him getting that $300 million that he was already guaranteed, but you have Joe Flacco, as well as you have Kenny Pickett. So, why do you see the need to draft another QB? 2 QBs in the same draft. I don't know. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I thought it was a colluded effort among owners. For him to go to Cleveland, because I was, Mailbox Sports, as well as I do, I wasn't in favor or in all for Shedeur coming to the AFC North. I think it's very dangerous of him coming to the AFC for many reasons, because it is the most grittiest, it is the most dirtiest, and they let the players play in the AFC North. So what that means in terms for him having protection in Cleveland, him having a solid offensive line in Cleveland, having said he win the starting job in Cleveland over Joe Flacco, because I'm not even looking at Deshaun Watson being in the picture.
Yeah, he won't be playing this year, I don't believe.
Yeah, I'm not even looking at him. And Kenny Pickett, I dare not say that name. So, but in terms of him and me personally, to be honest with you, what I'm looking at is actually Shedeur and Dylan competing for the starting spot. And I would say Dylan kind of has the edge over him, being that Dylan is the more seasoned, in my opinion, the more seasoned, the more
played more years, yeah.
The more durable individual. But it will be a competitive slot nonetheless. Now, to go along with what they already have, as far as defense-wise, of course, you got Myles Garrett on the other side. He's nothing to sneeze at. He's been a force to be reckoned with in the AFC North for the past years. He just got guaranteed money. I thought that their based on their decisions made, I thought that they could have went and got a running back to help assist that running back area. Well, actually, I'm sorry. They did get Quashawn Jukins, first round. I'm sorry. They did get Quashawn Jukins, a running back. But I just thought they should have made some better decisions.
And honestly, just even speaking on that one, I think they got the wrong running back from Ohio State, if you ask me. You got the plotter. I guess they see Jerome Ford as they speed back, but
yeah,
I guess you got the battering ram, but the better back to me would have been Travion. I do like Mason Graham pairing up with Myles Garrett. and being on that defense. And they did get Carson Schlesinger, I believe is his name, in the second round.
Yeah.
Dylan
Yes.
Sampson, I'm not so certain how Dylan would have fit into my system, but that was a running back that I thought about in the later rounds, so I'll give them credit for picking him up. Shador, for me, I believe has the opportunity to start there only because the system is set up. They went out and got Fannin. They already have Njoku. The system is kind of set up for tight end and a running game set up with splash plays for Jerry Jeudy. And Shador has the arm for that, what I don't think Dylan Gabriel does in the winter months. And so, like you said, the first crack will be given to Dylan, I believe, because of that experience, the reps and things like that. But besides waiting on old man time to ask Joe to sit down with him, like you said, it's more a two-man race to me. And a funny little quip before we move on, it's funny that Andrew Berry did not know that it was his responsibility to decline or pick up the fifth-year option on one Kenny Pickett. He thought that was supposed to be done last year in the third year of a 5-year contract. You're a real-ass GM in the NFL. So, gave me a little pause that a real NFL GM didn't know that, and you really flew up into a whole press conference. But, with that being said, I won't hide my brown and orange colored hate. Brown's gonna brown, and I'm gonna let them do it because I got to go to work with their insufferable fans, and their fans make me not be able to root for the players. We're gonna move along, and I'm gonna highlight. Go ahead. You got something for me?
Well, not to stifle, but do you think that was more so of a them drafting two quarterbacks in the latter rounds? Don't you think that's more of a Kevin Stefanski thing, or just them panicking and them trying to get something out of just to go along with the Deshaun Watson deal?
I think it's a Stefanski and a Jimmy Haslam situation.
Okay.
One of those quarterbacks is picked by Kevin Stefanski. The other was picked by Jimmy Haslam. Jimmy's a wild card. Jimmy's a bit of a rebel. And he don't really care about getting along with the good old boy system per se. Because him and Jerry is real friends. And they flying J endeavors. So he won't be ostracized or kicked out because he's doing nothing wrong. He's a bit of a risk taker, and he's a meddler, for lack of a better term. And I do believe, specifically, at that point, he wasn't going to let Shador get passed again because it gives him a little bit of an edge. They move him to a new stadium. It gives him a little bit of draft talk, like a Jerry Jones type move. A little bit of something to talk about. Even if it doesn't manifest itself into what we think of should be a productive football career, it gives him the pop to kind of smooth over the flub that he already had, which he admitted, the swing and miss. So show you what my right hand's doing so you don't see the left, and hope Shador pans out where I can right my wrongs and I can talk about a 5th round pick save the franchise type thing for me. And that's just my, conspiracy and my best case scenario for how that goes in my head. But I think that's how that went because, as we know, Deshaun was in Atlanta, and somebody by the name of Jimmy and D, I don't know what their last name is, jumped in and said, give them all the money guaranteed. I.e., I messed up. I swung and missed. You won't say that as an owner if you didn't handpick a particular player. So, with that being said, I think some of the same pressure came along, and I think it was easy for Andrew Berry to coincide with it because of a racial politic, if you will. Not to be too hyperbolic about it, but makes it easier for him to give a young brother a chance without, sounding like it's anything that should do or don't deserve. Because I still, while you may not be what people classify as this long-term projected starter, I far from see you as only a backup, but time will tell, and he'll get to prove that whether in Cleveland or somewhere else. I don't hope it be in Cleveland, but if it needs to be, go right ahead, bro. Get your money if that's what it is, because, write your own book. You're a young man, get to do that for yourself.
For sure, man. I just, but reason I'm a bit candid about him, but even though, because I've been on record stating that Hey, look, I don't care about none of that. You know what I'm saying? We come to bust Shadur, but competitively wise. But I know, but in all hopes, man, I hope they build around him. And having said he win, the starting position, that is, them build that line around him, because we've seen a number of instances like with the RG3 thing. His first couple of seasons, and him that happened to him with Shanahan, and him getting the injuries that he got. RG3, as
Mm-hmm.
well as all the other guys. Just building that protective line around him, because I mean, because these DBs is faster and faster, and these
And
rushers, I
big.
mean, it's not. Yes, yeah, because
God.
I remember when you got guys like Chase Young, and guys like Jadev Clowney. I don't know if you remember years back when Jadeveon Clowney came out of South Carolina.
If you
He
know,
was running he was running low fours,
I, get-
and
I, I get so tired of his little one highlight play, his claim to fame highlight play when he blew it up. Like
yeah,
they showed it so many times.
yeah,
But
yeah,
he's still a
blast,
sack artist though.
yo,
And
yeah,
still
blast.
fast.
Knock dude helmet off. But one of those guys that couldn't stay healthy, unfortunately. But no, I hope they build around Shador, man. Build him a line, give him a solid back. Granted that he wins the starting job, man. I know he gonna compete nonetheless.
Exactly.
But competing against Dylan Gabriel, he got his work cut out. That's gonna be something to see.
And see, we will be able to watch for the rest of the year. Now, the team I like to talk about the most because they lost the most in my division, even though I hate the Packers the most. The Detroit Lions took great losses this year. Even with that being said, they still got a B grade. Dan Campbell still there. They still gonna address some of their needs and try to get better on defense. So I'll give you a few players for them. Uh, Tyler Williams, the defensive tackle from Ohio State, was their first pick, late first round pick. So I expect him to be able to pair with Aiden Hutchinson, kind of create pressure up the middle, help them out to break a bow in certain aspects where their defense catches up with their offense. So they don't have to win everything in a shootout. I will see if their offense still maintains itself in that way, because I don't know who their OC is anymore, because he gone. He already gone. He out. He out of there. Don't worry about him. We got him tucked away. But I do like Tate Ratledge. That was the guy I really wanted in the second round. Now Luther was more important in terms of best available player. So when they snatched Tate right before we got Ozzy Trapillo, it is what it is. Can't really be mad about it. And I do believe they got a safety in round 7 from Georgia, Dan Jackson, big body, hard hitting safety. Both of my safeties are a bit older in age, and one's older and one is a bit more concussion susceptible, and so prayerfully he's going to be able to maintain his health and get his second deal, because he'll be the second of Ryan Pose's draft picks to receive a deal, and his actual second draft pick, because both of them deserve it. Those are home runs if Jaquan can stay healthy. Nonetheless, even if Jaquan can stay healthy, I do believe that Zah Frazier, to go back to the Bears draft picks, will be the proverbial big hard hitting safety, a conversion of he went to Texas San Antonio. So it's conceivable that a big body cornerback there who had a knack for the ball, they would convert him to a safety if needed be. We kind of deep everywhere in the secondary. I trust implicitly what they do with defense, but the guy Dan Jackson that Detroit got resembles what I thought they would have drafted. So shout out to them for picking him up. We got Zah before that, so apparently they saw something different than that. With a B grade, I'm trying to see. I believe a B is the lowest grade that we got for anybody in the division. I'm trying to find our next page to make sure we have gotten everybody out of the way before we get to I guess. Oh yeah, I guess I got to talk about these losers right here. I almost forgot. The goddamn Packers are an NFC North team. I forgot they were still there. I was looking for everybody to talk about but them, but whatever. So these bums, and I don't know how, they get an A minus. Don't get me to start making up shit for them. I got total piss in my veins for these bastards. I got nothing but malice. Matthew Golden was a good pick. 429. First time they picked a wide receiver in the first round. Who cares? Can he play? I don't care what round you got picked in, buddy. Because Savion Williams might be better than you anyway, and he was a third round pick. And then what you going to say then? They got drafted in the same class. You got two wide receivers. So you got Savion Williams, Matthew Golden, Dontavian Wicks, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson. So y'all just going to, we get all these damn receivers, and y'all giving A's to them for 17 receivers and Jordan Love. I digress. We ain't gonna piss on him all the way. Baron Sorrell, the edge from Texas, is who I like the most of all of their picks. I have nothing else to say about them. A, B, B plus. They got an A minus. Who really cares? Moving on to the Minnesota Vikings. Now, the Vikings are one of my least hated teams in my division. And while I think it was a fluke last year for their 15-2 record, as evidenced by Sam Bradford's shoe falling off, and nothing about them is real but their defense. I love their coach, but I don't think they have talent besides JJ whatsoever. And, things came about where Sam sort of like...
Whoa, hold up. Whoa. You said you don't think they have talent besides JJ? What about Addison?
All right. I won't piss in your Cheerios about Jordan Addison. He adequate. He is. I may have overlooked Jordan and T.J. Hawkinson, but I say that with contempt for any of my division opponents. But really, the points was put up late season. Jordan found his own rhythm and scored a lot of touchdowns. We know where he really want to get the ball. And Aaron held his own for his first year with Minnesota. But I'm telling you, the defense created such short fields at times. Or if you notice how many times JJ or Jordan took screen passes and went somewhere, because Sam learned how to play within the system and get out of his head, I give him that. He made substantial strides. But let's see if JJ McCarthy is him. Because Sam played for 4 or 5 years in the league before his reclamation project years with San Francisco and Minnesota. So, JJ, you were never rated as a passer. I know your coach, we just talked about, is a whisperer when it comes to that. We'll see how it goes. Because they did get a B overall. That B comes along with Donovan Jackson was their first pick. So they, much like most of my counterparts, focused on both sides of the lines and wide receiver, or playmakers, I should say. That's pretty much what the theme was in my division, if I really kind of sit there and analyze it. Donovan Jackson, Ty Felton from another wide receiver from Maryland to team up. Tyrion Ingram Dawkins is the defensive lineman they got from Georgia. And then they got another tight end, the big body guy from Pittsburgh, Gavin Bartholomew. All B grades for them. B minus on the back end. A solid B, just like the Lions. We got 2 Bs. We have A minus and a B plus as final grades as terms of composites for all of our teams. And I do believe, I don't know how we keep running into this. First, you got to start this motherfucker off. And he gets to end it off with none other than the last team, I believe, that got a letter out here, the Pittsburgh Terrible Towel having ass Steelers. Take it away. If you want, we can read your draft picks before you pontificate so lovingly and hate-wise about your team. So, I know he already knows everybody, but first round, 21st overall, I wanted that pick. They drafted Derek Harmon, DT out of Oregon. I think, like he said, that's going to do some things for his team. Caleb Johnson, the running back, round 3. Value pick, if I add so myself right there, from Iowa. Zach Sawyer, the edge from Ohio State. Defensive tackle again at Yaya Black from Iowa. Will Howard, 6th round, quarterback, Ohio State. Carson Bruner, the linebacker out of Washington. And Deontay Kent, Central Michigan. They gave your team overall AG Honda. Take the floor.
Overall A, I would say B minus because Well, one, I thought earlier they should have took a running back as well as a QB, being that we are currently hurting at this spot. I know all the speculation has been looking at the signing of Aaron Rodgers, but that's still up in the air. There's nothing concrete on
I
that.
dig that.
So, but I tell you what, I can see why they gave him an A because complementary to the defense, yes. So I guess we'll have to split those hairs there. But because defensive wise, we have a lot of tools that's complementary. Derek Harmon, he's definitely going to complement off the edge with Holcomb and as well as Highsmith and Patrick Queen. Of course, Jack Sawyer, he's going to fit right in, being that he's joining a loaded class. This is a loaded deck, if we must say, at the linebacker position. Not to say the defense is going to be overloaded, but you can't have too many weapons, right? So this is definitely also with the offseason acquisitions, as far as with Darius Slay helping the secondary, with Beanie Bishop, as well as Dante Kitt, a shifty, speedy guy, and
Let's take a
of
little Porter,
course,
don't you?
I'm sorry.
Let's take a look. Joey Kid.
Joy Porter Jr., yes sir, yes sir. He's coming to his own on his third year. He's going to get better, but of course, Darius Slay is working closely with him. Of course, but like I said, Beanie Beans Bishop, Mister Get Down and Lay Down. He's doing this thing. I mean, he's doing this thing. He's going to come along as well. He's only his upside is only going to get better. But what I like, to be honest with you, um, the offense, I see some early struggles. I see some early struggles, some early turmoil, and I even though you have that wide receiver tandem in Metcalf and George Pickens, I mean I see some early turmoils because I thought that we should at least spend two picks on two contending running backs so we can
Okay.
establish the run and be more attackful on the run, as well as because we got the lineman, left guard Troy Fontananu. He's going to be healthier this season, as well as more of our offensive linemen that in which we already have. So I just think more so on the offensive line, that's where we're more problematic.
Now, my question for you is because after the first round pick, you know it's 21. You didn't have a pick again until the third round. Where would you have liked to see them potentially address their second running back?
Uh, to be honest with you, I wouldn't have minded if we would have went after, made a deal to get Ashton Gentry before the Raiders were able to acquire him. Because when Najee was offloaded and went to LA Chargers, in which I thought that was idiotic to let him leave, but I understand the business, I understand the cap, and us standing up on that salary cap, and also how running backs are treated. But Najee being the workhorse and the professional that he has been all these 4 years, hardly ever missing games and staying healthy. But even though he didn't have a sufficient offensive line per se, like Le'Veon did,
Yeah.
Rashad Mendenhall did,
Oh
like various others
man.
did prior to him. But he still somehow found a way to get the job done. So, and also with Jalen Warren being unreliable at times, he's available here and there, but the best ability is indeed availability,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not very available. But Najee, he's going to the Chargers. He's definitely going to make some noise. That's that. I'm on bitter berries about that. To be honest, to be real with you, because Najee Harris, an Alabama dude, I rock with him. Um, but as far as our situation go, this whole thing about them getting Aaron Rodgers or them, because we're looking at Mason Rudolph, Skylar Thompson. Uh, it, we gonna see some turmoil, and rightfully so. We gonna see some turmoil. Hopefully we can turn some things around in time, because we haven't won a postseason playoff since 2016. We want to change that. All these uh 500 season wins. All this mediocrity that we've been having. I mean, you to go 20 plus years without a losing season, that's admirable. But the mediocrity just has to go. And I think Amar Khan, man, I think he's out the window. I think Rooney's out the window about it, and as they should be. So time is now because we see what Baltimore doing, we see what Cincinnati's doing, and I think that's going to be that. Those are going to be the ones to worry about.
I can understand that one. I mean, like you said, or like we already pretty much agree on, draft grades in themselves a bit over the top and way too far in advance right now. At the same time, it does give us a bit of a metric or a barometer to kind of look at and see if one, where the overvalue was in certain players, where the undervaluing or being overlooked came about for certain people. See all types of draft picks that have come about to be superstars in every particular round. A fourth round tight end from Arizona. Nobody thought Rob Gronkowski, and nobody can tell me they did. It's going to be one of the greatest tight ends to ever play out of the fourth round from Arizona. Like, we can stop the cap. New England didn't know it or anything else because they drafted another tight end in front of them just that year from the University of Florida. We won't going to talk about it in detail, but they drafted two. So I know it works. What we will do here is I want to send one thing to the pit specifically for both of us, which is mediocrity. We talked about it. Don't like it. Can't have it. And it's not to steal away. We don't have a way right that damn now because the only ways we ain't seen is losing ways. And I need to get up off those and unask those losing ways. What will go down there.
There you go.
I want to thank anybody who popped through, stopped in, say hello, or we'll catch the replay. Always remember to like, share, and subscribe. The content, growing subscriber over here. I mean, a growing streamer, I should say. Don't even worry about it. I subscribe to a lot of pages because we supporting, because we growing it while we fly. As Mr. Walker and all the boys and the SBC fam have put the moniker in my head. It's kind of stuck there. Nonetheless, G Honda, I appreciate you pulling up on me. Do you got any final thoughts before we go ahead and clock out over here and get into some mischief and mayhem like only some other people can do?
Yes, sir, man. We gonna see a lot of ruckus from across the board, man. We're gonna see a lot of ruckus this year, man. But it's gonna be well worth it.
I don't know exactly what pops up next. I know training camps and things like that are some of the things. When we have sports drama is what I think our next endeavor should go into. I know y'all do a lot of reaction videos. We got a lot of content in the sporting world, whether it be Shannon and everybody else that touches around those things through TMZ that we can go ahead and tap in and be able to look at outside of sport, but within the context of. Anytime you got those, man, we're going to go ahead and shoot them to each other, and we're going to keep it goddamn going. You know how the momentum going to flow. Till next time, everybody, on a Wednesday, not a Tuesday, but we had to get this going because, hey, sports is ongoing, and tomorrow they'll be talking about something totally different. We got to keep in the cycle. With that being said, I appreciate everybody pulling up. Anybody who didn't and anybody who will, we'll talk to you later on. This is Mailbox Sports. We are out. Holler at you later on.
Peace, bro.